Nice to see so many people joining us tonight.
Yeah, so I think we are ready to begin, Paula? Yes, okay. So we are reconvening to open session of the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees for the Calisto Bayonne Unified School District. And today is Monday, April 12th, 2021 at 6:01. Please be advised that recording might be made at the direction of the board and that the recording might capture images and sounds of those attending the meetings. We begin with item 3.2, report of actions taken in closed session, and there were no actions taken in closed session. We continue with item 3.3, attendance roll call. President Elkeshen is absent. Clerk Lopez Jones present. Trustee Maxfield.
Here.
Trustee Gonzalez. I think you are muted.
Here, yeah, sorry.
Thank you. Trustee Rodbert Allen.
Here.
And Representative Rubio. Student rep Rubio. Sorry.
I don't think she was going to make it tonight.
She's not here. Okay, perfect. All right, 3.4, Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item 3.5, the approve and adoption of the agenda. Any changes, additions to the agenda?
There are not, thank you.
Okay, so I need a motion, please.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you,
Second.
Jeff. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Abstain? Perfect. Thank you. Item 3.6 is the district mission statement. We are a collaborative, culturally rich educational community where a rigorous and innovative curriculum prepares our students to be successful contributors to our global society. We continue to item 4.1, the public business from the floor. This portion of the agenda allows an individual the opportunity to address the board on any item regarding board business that is not on the agenda. Without taking action or entering into dialogue with the public, board members might briefly respond to statements made or ask clarifying questions about topics posed by the public. Your matter might be referred to administration, and individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Is anybody for public comment?
I didn't have any submitted online.
Okay, did I see a hand raised? No. Okay, all right, thank you. We continue to item 5.1, recognitions, and the Board of Education recognizes the students, employees, or members of the community who have received recognition for academic or athletic achievement, or who have made significant contributions to any kind to the district. And I'm gonna ask Michael if he can help us with the recognition today.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. We're very excited about this. First of all, to have it back. This process didn't take place last year, just to all the events regarding COVID in the spring, and so we're back at it again this year. And oftentimes these awards go to employees of some of the larger districts down Valley. So to have one of our own representing and elected for this honor is very exciting. So we have Olga Pimentel is the winner of the Employee of the Year for the Food Services Division in the county. and will also be nominated to the state level. And Rosa is here, and Rosa can say a few words.
Good evening, everybody. I'm heard, right? Okay. First of all, I want to say congratulations to Olga. I want to say thank you to Raul and for Jason, who helped me come up with the letters to nominate her last year. We didn't think anything of it because, of course, the pandemic took over our lives. So I was very pleased to hear the news over spring break. So Olga is a very hard worker. She's been in our food service department for a little over 5 years. She's typically the last employee in, and you can find her cleaning up after, she's one of the last ones to leave, and you can find her cleaning up after everybody. So this award for her is very well deserved. Olga, we are proud of you to have you. We are proud to have you as part of our work family. We hope that you keep up the great work for many years to come, and we are in this together. And your little coworkers have a little message for you, Olga.
Oh. Thank you, Rosa. Thank you. I am very happy to hear all those words. Thank you all for everything and for this great surprise for me. Oh, thank you.
So Olga, we have a certificate to give you on behalf of the board, and I'll actually deliver that to you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much.
Congratulations, Olga.
Thank you, Rosa.
Thank you so much, Olga, for all the things that you do for the district. And quiero que sepas que nuestros estudiantes te aprecian muchísimo y los padres de familia también. Y muchísimas gracias por todo lo que haces.
Muchas gracias. Al igual, yo estoy agradecida con el distrito, con todo mi equipo, mi team, con Rosa, con todos. Estoy muy agradecida y de corazón, gracias a todos. Thank you so much for everything. I'm so happy.
Thank you.
Whoops, you're muted, Indira.
And I'm going on and on talking here. Sorry about that. So Olga, you're welcome to stay to the meeting, but you don't have to. I'm sure that, there's other things that, you have to do at home and your kids. So
Okay, thank
anyway,
you.
thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
So we continue with item 6.1, discussion with CSBA Delegate Assembly Representative. Erin?
As you probably recall, David Gracia attended our board meeting in March, and congratulations are in order because he was elected to serve as our county's representative to the CSBA Delegate Assembly. So he's jumped enthusiastically into his new role, and he requested that he be added to our agenda tonight so that he can gather input from our trustees. So welcome, David.
Thank you. Yes, I was officially, I guess, started the job on April 1st. And so now this is my opportunity to go around to the various boards and gather their input in advance of the May meeting of the General Assembly. It's the first of 2 meetings that they'll have over the course of a year. The second being in that November-December timeframe, right around the big conference that they do each year. So I was hoping to hear from some of you guys about things that were things you were concerned about or that you would like me to share with the Delegate Assembly so that I can do a good job of.
Well, David, I'd like to get Indira's input into that because as somebody that held that position, Indira, for what, 10 years? So is there any enlightenment you might want to pass on to David?
Sorry, my internet was not great. What was that?
Oops.
I can't tell if my internet is bad or.
Was it my internet?
Not sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you gotta love Zoom meetings. When can we get back to in person? So, David, I was saying maybe Indira can shed some light with some of her experience over the last 10 years.
Sure. I had the privilege of serving at the CSBA Delegates Assembly, and I'm still serving in some of the committees. And it's a very, very, very interesting and very educational opportunity to get to know what the association is doing at the state level and all the good thing, the good job that they are doing out there and representing the districts. Definitely, there is a certain level of, situations where, small districts like ours are, competing with, the larger districts who have more delegates in the assembly, and therefore, they get to, elect the representatives, that serve as, the president, and vice president, and those positions. But definitely, it's a very interesting experience. I will encourage you to participate in the committees. At one point, I was a part of the committee who organized the statewide conference for a couple of years. And the conference that was organized in San Francisco, and the next year was in San Diego, and it was just to provide the input, from what are, what we're seeing in our district, what are the needs of the students that we work with, and yeah. So I am very happy. Congratulations that you are in that position, and looking forward to working with you.
Thank you. Does anybody have any suggestions of things they would like me to convey specifically that you guys are concerned about to the delegate assembly?
David, have you gotten suggestions from any of the other districts that you'd like to share with us?
Sure. So I was up at the Pope Valley School District earlier. They were concerned about transportation issues. There's not really good funding for buses and other things like that. They were also concerned that they don't get the dollars for sidewalks and things like other school districts do, because everyone drives in because they're so spread out up there. They were busy at their meeting working on the design for a new building on their campus. It's going to be part multi-purpose room, part bathroom, and I think something of a cafeteria as well. So that was sort of the big project that they're focused on at the moment. Let's see. Last I was at Howell Mountain, they were talking about the effects social emotionally on the students, and they were developing some assessments that they were going to utilize in order to better understand where the students are as a result of this pandemic, which would then be a point of emphasis for interventions potentially. In NVUSD, we are in the middle of school closures, potentially closing a middle school and redesigning the programs at another middle school. So there's a lot of public interest, shall we say, in that process. A lot of engagement that's happening. We've had a 50-person task force that's been running since January, and they've just come to their results and are going to have a special board meeting on the 15th in order to have those formally presented to the board. And then I haven't yet had an opportunity to speak with the folks at St. Helena. So nothing to share from them. What about you? What about you guys? What have you been up to lately?
Anybody else want to report? Any of the board members? I'd be happy to then. David, we're in the midst of designing our, as I'm sure your district is as well, our learning opportunities plan. Of course, we've got our new LCAP, and then tonight we're having our master facilities plan is going to be presented as well for approval. I don't know if you were on the last meeting when we had the draft or not, if you stayed for that presentation, but that will be presented tonight. Any other suggestions from the board members? David, I appreciate your coming tonight. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you. Have a
David,
good
if they have any suggestions later, can they just email you?
Yes, of course.
Okay, I've got your contact, so I'll share that with the trustees.
Not a problem. Absolutely.
Thank you for coming.
Yep. Glad to be here.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
So we continue with item 6.2, discussion of posthumous recognition of community members. All right.
Thank you, Indira. So at our meeting on March 8th, we briefly discussed how to recognize both Jean Duffy and Lil Tyson for their exceptional contributions to our district. And as a board, you decided that you would give consideration about how best to honor each of them, and then you were going to discuss it as a group tonight. So since that time, I did some more research and looked at Board Policy 7310, which outlines different options that you have as a board. So you can choose to create a memorial. So that could, as an example, it could be planting a commemorative tree, dedicating a building, putting a plaque on the side of the building that you're dedicating that particular building. You can erect a monument, or you can name a field. So those are examples of creating a memorial. The other thing that you can choose to do as a board is you can choose to name a facility after an individual person. However, that's a little bit more complicated. If you choose to name a facility, the procedure is different in that our policy states that a citizens advisory committee has to be established. And then they are tasked with reviewing name suggestions. And then they submit those recommendations to you as a board. And then before adopting any of their recommendations, you would also need to hold a public hearing so that the public had an opportunity to comment. And then after that, it would come back to the board for your approval. So tonight is time for you to discuss it. Hope you've given some thought to it. You don't need to necessarily make a decision tonight, but you could at least discuss it and give me some direction, hopefully.
Well, I got some feedback from some members of the community that would like to name the new big gym after Jean, a senior and junior. So I'm going to throw that out. I think that's an excellent idea. And then I also thought maybe a plaque and a tree for Lil Tyson at the elementary school, because she was such a big supporter of the Education Foundation that started that, 30 years ago. And now we've got in perpetuity a grant that automatically comes instead of us doing all those fundraisers. But some of those were pretty fun too. But anyways, so but I like the idea of maybe renaming the naming the gym after the Duffys. They did a lot for the community. So I guess that would require like you said, a committee, but that's my 2 cents.
Can I ask a question about this, the advisory committee? Is that, I'm assuming that it comes with some sort of regulations in terms of what to take in consideration to before proposing, the naming to the board? Is that?
Yeah, it depends on what you choose to do as a board. Indira, you can either appoint yourselves, you can appoint the committee, or you can direct me to appoint a committee. If you appoint as a board, then we would need to be sure that we're following the Brown Act as that committee. If I appoint the committee, it's similar to a principal leading a site council meeting or the DLAC meeting. So it's not actually a board appointed committee. So there's a difference between the two. You would need to decide as a board which direction you'd like to take.
Okay.
Any other thoughts from the other board members about?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I support the idea of the naming of the gym. I'm with you, Jeff. I think that it's only fair to, to honor people who has really worked really hard for our students and our community. So I just would like to get some clarity about, how do the process work? And we have the overseeing committee that we work, for the bond that we worked with for several years. I was wondering if it was a similar process.
So Indira, you're suggesting that some of those committee members from the oversight committee be contacted? Is that?
Possibly. I mean, those, they know that, some of the rules of, if you will, of the, the Brown Act and all that stuff, and maybe we'll make it faster rather than just, dragging forever to decide on something like that. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, and Jared, one of the community members that was hitting me up about renaming the gym, it was on the bond committee. So I suggest that Aaron form a committee and let Rose go to town. So.
Anybody else? Any comments?
No, I support what you've proposed.
Thank you, Stephanie. Okay, so do we need to give you direction today, or
No, I can bring it back to the next agenda if you'd like to, and then you can give me direction if you want me to appoint the committee. That's what I'm hearing, Jeff, right? You want it to be a superintendent's committee? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense to streamline it. If you run point on it and select some of those people that, we might make suggestions on, but I mean, it just seems to get the ball rolling.
Well, I'm certain Rose can help me select members of that committee. She's been around a long time and certainly knows the community. So.
Yes.
I agree. So, okay. Well, thank you. And moving on, item 6.3, technology assessment results. Maureen?
Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday. So as you might recall, a couple months back at the January 11th board meeting, Anthony Thomas from Digital Advisors came and did an executive summary review of the technology department assessment and review that we conducted in November. And the detailed report is now available. The detailed report's now available and it's been completed, and that is what is in front of the board tonight. This report will also be posted to our website. And it just is a detailed account of what Anthony Thomas reported on. He had some recommendations at that time to hire a full-time network manager. That job description's on the agenda tonight. Other recommendations included network security assessments, wireless surveys to fill dead spots in our district, and then a cloud assessment for cloud-based disaster recovery planning. So all of that is in the report, as well as key observations of standardizing equipment and out-of-date equipment that needs to be replaced. And unless you have any questions, that's the report presented to the board tonight.
Okay, any questions, comments from the board? Okay, seeing none, thank you, Maureen.
Thanks.
Item 6.4, Western Association of Schools and Colleges, WASC, mid-cycle report. Mr. Guerrero.
Hello, everyone. Just wanted to report back on our mid-cycle report. It was a very successful visit from the WASC Commission. They basically validated our report and the findings from the spring visit that we had from the team. So you guys have a copy there of the report that was made, but basically on page 5 and 6 is the conclusion about school-wide strengths. A lot of the strengths are focused on the collaboration and the good communication that's going on our campus. And then the support of our community and parents and students, also basically letting this person know that they really appreciated the way that teachers recognize the difficulties during distance learning. And then moving forward is to continue to work on our areas of established, identified areas of growth, which are outlined there in the 5 goals that we had set back, 2 years ago. And then one additional area was also included to continue to strengthen student voice and agency in our students. So we are confident that we are in a good track and headed towards. So now the next step would be to get our final report. And then in 2 more years, we'll start again the process to have another visit in 3 years. So, but we're very confident that the report is going to be positive, as it's stated here on this preliminary report. And we're looking forward to the continued work.
So, Mr. Guerrero, how are we letting the parents know about this progress? I know that, in the past, there was very much interest from the part of the parents to, in this specific accreditation. And, it's important that, they know that, they keep learning about the good things that are happening in the district.
So we did a presentation to our DLAC, ELAC group already on these results, as well as the school site council. And then I've included that information in the week bulletin that goes out to all the families as well, letting them know. I let them know of the process when it was starting, and I let them know of the conclusion of the findings. So.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions, comments from the board or the public? Okay. Continue to 6.5, board policies and administrative regulations, first reading. We have a set of 5 board policies and regulations that are presented to us for the first reading. And I would like to know if there is anything that we need to discuss at this point.
Dear, I don't have any specific recommendations.
Anybody from the board? No? Okay, great, thank you. And then we're going to be, I'm sorry, there was, okay. So we'll be voting on these regulations in the next board meeting, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so moving on to item 7 reports, 7.1, Calistoga Elementary School Principal.
Good evening, everyone. For ensuring an academic excellence for all students in February and March, we had grade level meetings for each of our grade levels to review trends in MAP data. And additionally, and probably Erin will talk a little more about this, our data leadership team also met to review the trends in winter testing. And each grade level, in looking at the data, refined which of the standards they were going to be focusing on until the next test window. And really what we talked about, including today at our staff meeting, is employing a growth mindset to support student growth and to support students in their learning. At this point, and probably we're a little further along today because we do have outside examiners who are helping us out. We're about at the halfway point for our summative English language proficiency assessment for California, otherwise known as LPAC. And this test is required for all English learner students to take annually. And however, due to COVID restrictions, we are doing a combination of in-person and remote testing. And once we get our student results, we're going to use this to guide both our embedded and designated ELD time, and additionally to determine students who can be redesignated. For LCAP goal number 2, our recess, as I said in the report, has been an evolving event at Calistoga Elementary School. And so initially when we started doing our recess, our morning recess outside, students were not allowed to use shared equipment. That has been changed by the Department of Public Health. And so we are able to have shared equipment now. But at the same time, students like having their individual toys to play with. And so we do have jump ropes, we have skip and ankle jumping toys, chalk, and individual ball catchers. Our paraprofessionals have been doing a great job because we do assign by cohort, and so it is very direct supervision that's happening. They have been doing a great job of keeping students engaged and entertained at recess. And again, we do now allow shared equipment, so we are starting to see students shooting hoops and playing volleyball and kicking soccer balls to each other. During the last week of March, Calistoga Elementary students were honored for their academic achievement, and awards were sent home with students, and many of our teachers took pictures of their classes with their awards to post these so that the classroom community could all celebrate our students' academic achievements. For LCAP goal number 3, increasing parent engagement. We are currently working with our stakeholder groups, our English Learner Advisory Committee, our School Site Council, and Parent-Teacher Organization for input on extended learning opportunities such as summer school. However, due to the current hybrid schedule, we have not had our parent engagement classes, and we're going to need to go back to the drawing board to figure out a suitable time to continue those opportunities for parents. So that is my report tonight. Thank you.
Any questions for Principal Lamar? Comments? Okay, all right, moving on to Calistoga Junior Senior High School Principal's report.
Thank you. So LCAP goal number 1, ensuring academic excellence for all our students. We welcomed students back to in-person instruction on March 22nd, which was almost exactly a year after we closed our doors for COVID-19. So it was great to bring our students back. And just the energy that the students bring to the campus, and it's just amazing. It's what makes a difference between, you know, loving my job and I have an okay job, right? Having the students on campus makes me just like, okay, this is the reason why we come to work every day. So we did make a minor adjustment to the schedule to add a snack break after we heard from students and staff members that they were hearing from students that they were hungry, especially on that Monday and Tuesday where we have a long day. And I just wanted to, so we added a 5-minute increase in one of our passing periods after the first block to be able to provide a snack to our students. And a special thanks to Rosa and her service crew for being able to quickly adjust. I think I talked to her on a Thursday, and that next Monday we were running with the new schedule, and they were able to provide morning snacks. And as well as our grab and go lunch for our students. And right now, all our students are able to receive that for free. So that's a good opportunity for our students. We also have been working with our special education and ELD staff to increase the number of in-person instruction days for students in these programs. At our current schedule, students that choose to come on campus are only on campus 2 times a week, but we're trying to increase for those students that need it the most for them to come on campus four times a week. So 4 days of the week they will be on campus. We're reaching out to families today to make that happen and have them then be on campus Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Our second round of MAP testing results are already being used to get our instruction. MAP data drive meetings were held in Math and English department. And we are planning to share the results also with the rest of the staff at our staff meeting this Wednesday. So good work being done there. Special thanks there for Monica Valdenegro and Alex Amtery. And then LCAP goal number 2, providing a safe and healthy, positive school environment. It is that time of year that we start planning our end of year activities, such as 8th grade promotions and senior graduation. Safety guidelines continue to change, so our plans will undoubtedly evolve as we go along. But we have heard that the playgrounds are no longer an option, so we are starting to look at possibilities as to how we can hold the 8th grade promotion and graduation on our campus. And then on LCAP goal number 3, increase parent engagement and enhance communication. It has been great to see how parents continue to be empowered from participating in the PICE trainings. I was invited to attend the question and answer session during their last day of the training. And I thought, well, I would be there for maybe 20 minutes. They'll have a few questions, but I was there for about an hour. They had great questions, great conversation, and great ideas that came from that group too. So the impact that these trainings have in our community and will continue to have is going to be great. So just wanted to again give a shout out to the district for putting this in, because it's going to make a difference in our community and in the parents, and then of course in their children's opportunities as well. And that is my report for the month.
Any questions, comments on the board? No? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Herrero. All right, moving on to 7.3, Director of Educational Services and Human Resources. Michael?
Yeah, I'd like to start off with some comments about our school reopening. And I think, credit goes, up and down the organization. It's not a foregone conclusion that when the state gave us the green light to reopen, that things would go smoothly. And it's gone very well. And I think credit goes to literally everyone in the organization. I think everyone played a part in making it go well. And I know we're all excited to get students on campus more and eventually get back to full-time schooling. But I think one of the toughest hurdles was getting schools reopened after a long closure. And I'm very proud of the work that we did. I can share an update on our COVID case numbers. We've had 0 positive COVID-19 cases reported from our student and staff from the month of March and to date in the month of April. I always feel like it's a little bit of knock on wood to even talk about it. So if everyone could knock on wood, that's much appreciated. But this is good news, and we're trending in the right direction and have been trending in the right direction since February. So we'll continue to stay vigilant with the mitigation strategies that we have in place and that are working. And also report that Napa County has reduced the number of days they are offering COVID-19 testing here in Calistoga from 2 days to 1 day a week. But we still think that this frequency is going to be okay for getting our staff tested on a monthly or a bi-monthly basis. And we're continually thankful that the county has a testing site locally, which our staff can utilize. I'll share an update on state testing. I feel like this is at this point kind of a monthly update, and I think it's going to be that way at least for the next month. The U.S. Department of Education has granted the state of California's request for relief from certain portions of state testing. There's a shift in focus from accountability to providing information to parents, educators, and the public about student performance, and to help target resources and supports. So what does that mean and what does that look like? Well, first, they are decoupling state assessments from federal accountability. And it's really at this point used for local use. They're waiving the penalty for not meeting the typical 95% participation requirement for state testing, with the exception of LPAC, which will continue to be an expectation that 100% of students take the LPAC. They are allowing districts to use local assessments if they meet certain criterion in lieu of CASP for math and English. So for us, that would be our newly adopted MAP tests. We do know that if we choose to use a local assessment, we will still have the obligation to upload our data to the state, to our SARC, and provide the information to families. The testing window for the LPAC and CASP has been extended to July 30th. So these are some of the reliefs that have been given. That said, I think we still have some decisions we need to make. I don't think it's simple at this point. Will we give the CASP? Will we give the MAP instead? Will we do a combination of the two? Is it viable to give tests at all grade levels and all subjects? If we give a local assessment, what is our plan for making sure that we meet the obligation to upload the data to the state? These are still important questions. So I don't think we have a final path forward, but at least we have the information, which we've really been waiting on. Everyone's kind of been in a holding pattern. This information came out very late last week, which does make it challenging. We're in mid-April, we're halfway through the testing window, and we're just now kind of getting that final direction. So we'll have to make the decisions that we think are best for our students and for our school district as a whole and needing the data, but also balancing that with the other needs that we have for teaching students and supporting social emotional well-being. I can also share that we're in the midst of our planning for our summer program. And I think we would all agree that given the challenges our students have been through, that something different needs to happen this summer. Our students need something different. They need something more. And at this point, we are envisioning a Bridges program for students entering CES from preschool, grade level specific as opposed to combination classes for our elementary students in English and math. Probably a focus there trending towards math, as that's where the data is telling us our students need the more support. Also embedding the program beyond academics with social emotional skill building and play. An enrichment program for our students in grades 6, 7, 8, and 9 through AIM High, which has been a multi-year endeavor to partner with AIM High. And then an extended credit recovery program for our high school students. And I think we're excited to serve more students than we ever have. And I think we're excited to have a program that does something beyond academic support. And I think the biggest challenge will be finding staffing. And this isn't unique to us. I think, throughout the country, educators are tired. This has been a very challenging year, what we've been through. I think personally, but also with the challenge of distance learning. And so, we sent out a survey to our staff to get their interests, to understand when in the summer they would be available, and what their interest is in curriculum. And so I think that's where we're at, and getting a better idea of what we can support. But I think our goal is to support more students than we've ever supported, and support them in ways that we haven't supported them before. And then lastly, just an update on our ELD program. I think this has been a shift in focus for us this year to do more in ELD, to work harder to support our English learner students, especially at the secondary level. We added in 2 courses this year to make sure that all students are getting designated ELD. As part of that process, we've adopted and purchased new curriculum, ELD specific curriculum. And then we are in the middle of basically a year-long professional development project with our staff on integrated ELD. And the goal is to reclassify more students out of English learner status and to raise the performance across the board academically of our English learners. This needs to be a focus for us, and I think this year has been a bit of a turning point to shine the light on that, and it's the beginning of something that needs to be sustained and something I think we need to attend to and continue to monitor our progress with our English learners. So that's my report for the month, and I can take any questions if there are any.
I just have to say that I am very happy that finally Aim High is gonna happen. You know, it's been a journey with and the only thing that I worry about is that I know that we're struggling in the past years with recruitment of teachers. Do you know how is that going? You know, the last thing we want is just a surprise at the very last minute that they didn't recruit enough teachers.
You know, I think first of all, yeah, I agree. It's been a multi-year endeavor. I think a lot of credit goes to Erin and her kind of tenacity about making this happen. But you know, this is an interesting situation, and we've seen a few of these, I think, out of what's been happening with COVID, where there are opportunities, right, to do things a little bit differently. And I think where we struggled in the past to get teachers for in-person learning up here in Calistoga, what's going to happen this year, what we're envisioning, is that the teachers will actually be remote. Many of them will be out of Napa, but our students will be on campus with classified staff. So they'll have an on-campus experience, a place where they can have relationships with other students, where they can you know, be together on our campuses, which we feel is very important as opposed to a purely virtual experience, which is not really what we want this summer. But that, I think, gets us the best of both worlds. It gets our students in-person learning, but at the same time, it addresses that issue of teacher recruitment, and that Aim High is able to kind of pool their regional resources to find teachers which can support our kids. I don't know if that, you know, addresses the long-term sustainability of the program. I think that gets us in the door this year to launch this program, and then I think we will continue to have to address that in years to come as to how we staff this.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? No? Okay, great. Thank you, Michael. We continue with 7.4, Director of Business Services, Maureen.
So I have a couple of funding updates and a budget update, and we'll talk about some technology and audit things. So President Biden has proposed a major spending increase for the U.S. Department of Education for the next fiscal year. He's proposing a 41% increase to federal dollars going out to school districts. And that increases to the level that we're funded at this year. That means that our district could see increases in Title I, special ed, and possible new funding for counselors, nurses, and mental health professionals in the schools. So hopefully this is some good news, and it'll carry through to the next federal budget year. We got some bad news about our budget for 21-22 last week. We received news that the unemployment insurance rate is going to increase for the 21-22 school year. Not very surprising given the COVID pandemic and how many people have been unemployed as a result. The current rate we pay right now is 0.05% to every dollar we pay out in payroll, and that number is going to go up to 1.23%. It doesn't sound like a big increase percentage-wise, but dollar-wise for us, it's about $125,000 added to our budget for next year that we don't have funding for. Normally, the unemployment fund pays, we pay into the unemployment fund statewide, and they usually receive about $40 million a year to keep the fund going and to pay out beneficiaries. And in 1920, more than $237 million was paid out of this fund to recipients. So you can see why they had to go with a rate hike for contributions to the fund. We are hoping as school district's governor addresses this increase with the May revision and maybe can find some funding to give to school districts to help pay this increased cost. But currently our district has no new funding in order to help manage that $125,000 a year. On the technology side of things, we're still in the process of installing firewalls. There's been issues with configurations, and it has not been very easy to move from one product to another. This has caused a lot of delay. It's been a long, difficult road, but in the end, we're going to be saving over $60,000 annually, so it's worth the wait. Beginning with the 21-22 school year, we've been approved for 2 main internet connections. We're going to have a main internet connection at CES, and we'll also have one going to the high school. We are going to increase our speed from 1 gig to 2 gigs. Right now, we only have 1 gig district-wide, so we'll go from 1 gig district-wide to 2 gigs, both at CES and then another 2 gigs at the junior senior high school and to the district office. Super excited about seeing increased speed and hopefully some less delays while doing some Zoom meetings and classroom teachings through the internet. So the auditors were here last month. I talked about it a little bit. They were doing an attendance audit when we last met for a board meeting, and they found only one issue with just a couple of students that had been marked absent, but they had actually completed asynchronous work. We can go ahead and fix those because the year is not over, and we can continue to monitor that to make sure kids still get credit for doing asynchronous work. And we received a big compliment from our auditors saying that working on this testing with Calistoga was the most seamless of the sites they've worked with so far. Granted, we were one of the first districts they've worked with, but they were super happy to have just such an easy time to come in. And all the thanks goes to Veronica, Maria, and Alex for their dedicated work to make sure our attendance accounting was all in line for the auditors. So kudos to them. I really appreciate all their hard work on this. And that's all I have for tonight, unless anyone has any questions.
Sorry, I keep forgetting to unmute. We continue with the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Indira. Under LCAP goal number 1, ensuring academic excellence for all students. Congratulations to Raul and the junior senior high school staff on their positive WASP mid-cycle report. I'm very impressed with the progress that's been made the past 2 years. And I also want to publicly commend all of them for the successful implementation of their blended learning model. The timing of their particular transition was a challenging one because the school was also conducting the winter map assessment and preparing for the WASP visit at the same time. So that was a big lift to try to accomplish all 3 of those things simultaneously. I also appreciate their efforts to specifically increase in-person learning time for their high needs students that Raul reported on earlier. And I want to give a shout out to our data leadership team. Nicole mentioned, and so did Raul, how the MAP assessment results are being used, and that implementation of MAP is due to the DLT and their leadership. So they are greatly appreciated and making a difference in creating a data-driven culture in our district. And as Michael mentioned, we have been able to finalize the details for Aim High Extended. I'm very excited about that. So I will be bringing a formal agreement to you at the board meeting in May. And then we are also in the process right now of gathering input from our staff, parents, and our community partners for Expanded Learning Opportunities Grant Plan. Maureen explained to you some of those new state monies at our March meeting. And so we have to submit a plan to you before June 1st. So I'm hoping that that will be done at the very latest, May 10th. If we have a special meeting, which I'll talk about later, I could possibly submit it to you earlier. Then under LCAP goal number 2, providing a safe, healthy, and positive school environment. The CDPH COVID-19 guidance changes have been constant all year, but they are now occurring so rapidly that it is truly becoming more and more difficult to keep up with the revisions. On the good side, however, restrictions are lessening, and we will be able to hold our promotion and our graduation ceremonies in person this year. Of course, those are coming with modifications, and we are still in the process of trying to understand all the new guidance. So the superintendents have a meeting with Dr. Beluccio tomorrow to get some more clarification. She was not even yet familiar with everything. They've been issuing so many changes. It's hard for her to keep up with it as well. So we're going to be meeting with the CAT negotiations team on Wednesday to discuss revising our COVID-19 MOU again to reflect those changes, and also to get their suggestions for the Expanded Learning Opportunities Grant Plan. The most significant change in some of the guidance that we're going to be talking about is a decrease in the requirement that students are seated 6 feet apart in the classrooms. It has now been reduced to 3 feet, which will allow for larger class sizes and perhaps an increasing the time that students can attend in-person school in our district. And then some other minor modifications are being made. One of them is on the cleaning standards. There's some new thought now on how often classrooms have to be cleaned and with what kinds of products they need to be cleaned. So we'll be discussing all of those with Kat and then also with CSEA probably next week. And with the reopening of gyms and allowance of indoor sports, more good news is that our facilities department reinstalled the outdoor basketball hoops on the junior senior high campus today. That is one of the questions I get fairly frequently in the community is when do we get the basketball hoops back so that students and also the community can utilize them again. Under LCAP goal number 3, increasing parent engagement, enhancing communication. Alex Andry finished compiling the results of the LCAP survey last week. So she's going to share the school specific data with each of the schools and then make a presentation on district-wide data at our May meeting. Then as Ro reported to you on the success of PK, I'm excited that the second part of the series is going to be happening starting this coming Saturday. It's going to be a leadership workshop. It will occur over 2 consecutive Saturdays, and then the graduation ceremony for both the parent engagement and the leadership component are going to be held on the afternoon of April 24th. So I will send you specific information later if you'd like to Zoom in and join us. And then lastly, I'm anticipating that we will need to hold a special meeting to approve the hire of several new applicants for positions that we currently have open. And perhaps I'll be able to bring the settlement agreement forward for CSEA. So right now, I'm hoping to be able to propose the 26th, I think it is, of the month. Is that correct, Paula? It's a Monday night. So Paula will be sending out a doodle poll and just to see if that works for everybody. And then if it does, I'll ask Julie to set the meeting for us. That's all I had tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Erin? No? Okay. We'll continue to the consent agenda. Item 8.1. Actions proposed for the consent agenda are deemed routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless any member of the board, the audience, or staff request specific items to be removed from the consent agenda for separate action. Any changes? Any comments about the consent
No changes.
agenda? Anything from the board? No?
Move to accept
so
the consent.
thank you, Jeff.
Second.
Stephanie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Again? Aye. Anybody against? No? Great. And this is a roll call. President Elkishan is absent. Claire Lopez-Jones. Aye. Trustee Maxfield.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Robert Allen.
Aye.
Thank you. And Student Representative Rubio is absent. We continue to our action items. 9.1 action item protocol. The protocol for action items include a staff presentation, questions from the board, public input, deliberations by the board, and voting by the board. During public input, there will be a 3-minute time limit per person. And we begin with a 9.2 facilities master plan. Erin?
We have submitted a draft of the plan for your consideration, and I see that our IEP2 and Schoolworks consultants have joined us again tonight, just in case you have questions for them. So thank you, Tim, Mike, and Erin for being here. And Maureen is also going to provide you with some clarification on the funding portion of the master plan. So Maureen, do you mind doing that first?
Sure. We have added a page since our last meeting where we went over the entire plan. We added a project phase 1 and phase 2 page. It's page 36. And these projects mention in order with funding what we can complete with the money we have available to us now. And then phase 2 would be future funding and doing projects with monies that would come to us in the future. And by that, I mean another possible bond. And that is only because in the master plan, we have about $45 million worth of projects, but we only have about $21 million worth of funding. So if we do complete everything in this master plan, we will need to figure out how we're going to obtain funding for that phase 2 projects. This is not something we have to decide tonight as far as coming up with a bond or whether or not we want to go out for a bond vote. That's something that we can talk about much later. But I will tell you that this is a typical process in master plans for school districts. So normally when you complete a master plan, if you haven't just passed a bond, you are looking at projects that would require some sort of future funding that you don't know you have yet within your master plan, because usually projects that go out a few years are very expensive, and there's not a lot of districts that have all that money on hand to begin with. So I just wanted to mention that additional page, and just to let you know that this is a continual process for us. We're going to keep doing this as we go through projects and as we need to maintain our facilities, and we need to adapt to different learning styles as we move forward in the years. This will always be part of our construction projects. The master plan will be part of that to begin with. So if you have any questions about page 36, please let me know. If not, I'm sure you might have other questions about the rest of the plan. Or Erin, I don't know if there's something else you wanted to add.
First, are there any questions from the trustees?
If we approve this plan tonight, the construction, if I recall, will start pretty soon. Is that right? On the projects?
The construction won't start very soon, Stephanie, but the actual planning to try and get into the design phase of the construction, yes, we want to get going on that as soon as possible. So there's a timeline, but by the board approving this master plan, it will allow us to move forward and start the process of looking for that design team, how we're going to do the method of delivery, and that's something the board will decide. But yes, this will allow us to start that planning phase.
Mike or Tim, did you have any comments you'd like to make?
I think
I found the unmute. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
I was simply going to say that I think we'll probably respond to any questions, but follow up on what Maureen said. The sequencing, the costs on the project sheets that she's discussed do have acceleration costs over time for the projects. So you do have inflationary costs already built in there if anybody is interested in that. They're not all present dollars, so to speak. And also, I believe one trustee Rothenberg, I believe, asked if things would be getting started soon. As I think Maureen and the superintendent said, there's a planning block before you get started doing construction, including design, method of delivery, other preliminary tests and so forth that you have to do before you can actually start construction. So the district, I think, wants to start those relatively rapidly.
I have nothing further to add other than thank you for involving us, and we really appreciate the opportunity, and it's been fun, a long period of time, but it's been fun. And I think it's a great master plan. You've done a great job in putting it together. So
Well, thank you both. I'm very excited that we have a new plan in place to improve our facilities so that we can better serve our students and programs in the future. So thank you all. And thank you to the staff that have worked so hard on the plan, hours and hours and hours.
Okay, if there are no more questions or comments from the board, I'm looking for a motion.
I move to approve the plan.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And the motion carries. Okay, moving on. 9.3 tentative agreement between the Calistoga Joint Unified School District and the Calistoga Associated Teachers. Michael?
Yeah, I don't have too much to add other than what's presented. I think we worked hard on this agreement. We've been working hard all year long. And I think this is, somewhat of a culmination, but I also think that we're going to continue to be working together on an ongoing basis at this point as we resolve issues related to COVID funding, et cetera.
Okay, any questions, any comments from the board? No? Okay, great. So I'm looking for a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Jeff.
Second.
Stephanie, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Now, sorry, I lost my place in the list here. 9.4, AB 1200 disclosure, associated Calistoga Associated Teachers. Maureen?
Okay, Michael just talked about our tentative agreement. Now I'm going to tell you all the numbers that follow behind that tentative agreement. And that's part of the AB 1200 compliance and disclosure. So whenever a district negotiates with its employee unions and the result of that negotiation is a compensation increase, the disclosure needs to be completed for the board and public transparency as to the cost of the compensation. It also needs county office approval of the expenditure to make sure the district maintains its fiscal solvency. The disclosure before you tonight is for Calistoga Teachers Union. Michael just went over the tentative agreement. We agreed to a 1.3% increase to the salary schedule, along with an increase to the district's contribution on medical, dental, and vision of $87 per month for each CAT member. The cost of the salary schedule increase is $82,392. The payroll benefits associated with this increase is $16,885. The step and column figure that happens automatically every year for each qualified employee that moves a step for experience or over a column for education is also included in this overall cost because it is considered total compensation for our employees. And that cost is $100,698. The $87 per month increase in the district's medical, dental, and vision contribution has a total cost of $17,756 for the 2021 school year. For the 21 school year, the total compensation that we just discussed is $217,731. If you average that by each member of the union, that's a $3,881 increase. Of course, not everyone will get that same amount because some people have health insurance that they'll get that $87 a month. Some have health insurance that is not that expensive. And then everybody makes a different salary. So that 1.3% is a different figure for everyone. The year 2 increase totals $5,607, and this is for the co-curricular schedule that will increase beginning July 1st by the 1.3%. If anyone has any questions, I'm free to take them.
Okay, seeing none, I'm looking for motion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Rudy.
Second.
Jeff, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay, the motion carries. 9.5, certified teacher salary schedule. Again, Maureen, welcome back.
This is the new salary schedule that will be posted with the 1.3% increase. Also listed on the salary schedule is the new district contribution amount for medical, dental, and vision of $13,200 annually. That's the $87 a month increase we talked about. Once the board approves the new schedule as presented, we can post this to our website and begin making the salary changes for our CAT members. Back to July 1st, they will receive retroactive salary. So that means that we will go back and give them a retro based on everything they've earned from July through this month. And then they will be paid this new salary schedule going forward as well.
Okay, any questions, comments? No, okay. So the recommended action is to approve the certified salary schedule as presented. Any motion?
I move to approve the certified salary schedule. Certificated.
Yeah, thank you, Stephanie. Thank
It's been
you.
a long day.
Second.
Thank you, Jeff. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries by unanimous vote. All right. Item 9.6, network systems manager job description. Michael?
Yeah, this is part of the transition that we're in the middle of bringing the management of our internet network internal to CGUSD staff as opposed to an external contract. The job duties, salary schedule were created after a comprehensive review of neighboring and regional districts and have been provided to CSCA for consultation and review. Yeah, and we're excited about this, and we're excited. Hopefully, it will. We're hopeful it's approved, and then we can move towards posting the position and hiring and getting an exemption. So.
Okay. Any questions or comments about the network systems manager job description? Okay, I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Jeff.
Second.
Thank you, Rudy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, 9.7, agreement with Literacy Pro Systems Incorporated. Erin?
Yes, this agreement is going to allow Napa Valley Adult Ed, any workforce providers, and eventually Napa Valley College and Santa Rosa Junior College to share data for our senior students so that they can more easily access both adult school and college services. So for example, tutoring or counseling support. And this is all through Napa Valley Adult Ed. So my recommendation is to approve.
Any questions, comments from the board? Okay. So I need a motion, please.
I move to approve the agreement.
Second.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I didn't catch you, Rudy.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Okay, 9.8, agreement with Brandy Anders for school psychological services.
Yeah, this is an agreement for additional school psychology services. And a little bit of background. We, like most districts, have a backlog of special education assessments as a result of COVID-19, deferred assessments, extended assessments. We just haven't had access to students in person to do many of the assessments, the ones that require in-person assessment. And so we need additional support. we'd like to do as many as we can and hopefully start next year, on par with all of our assessments completed to date. Brandy Anders is a local school psychologist who will be able to do in-person assessments. We have contracted with her in the past, most recently in 2018, 2019. This contract is very similar to the one that we agreed to with her during that previous year, and we're recommending that we authorize it for this school year, for the remainder of the school year.
I do have a question, Michael. I know that in the past, and it probably continues, but I'm not sure. The assessments are continue to being translated for parents, for monolingual Spanish-speaking parents. The IEP documents and the assessments.
Indira, you cut out for me for just a minute. Can you repeat that?
Yes, I'm sorry, my internet is not very stable.
No problem.
So are they, the assessments and the IEPs, are they reports, are they continue to be translated for parents, for monolingual speaking parents?
They are, yes. Special ed documents for special ed students and parents are translated. Some of those are kind of done automatically when it comes to IEP documents. And then some of these, like a psychoeducational report by a school psychologist, needs to be translated, which is kind of a separate process.
Okay, thank you.
But
any questions or comments from the board? If not, I'm looking for a motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Jeff.
Second.
Thank you, Rudy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thanks. Motion passes. Okay. 9.9, agreement with Sunbelt Staffing for school psychological services.
this is a similar agreement. It's with a different provider who will do remote assessments for students who can be assessed remotely. And I think this is a little bit of a manifestation of our students are back, they're back in our custody, and we have a short amount of time until the end of the year. And so we want to assess to the highest degree that we can. And this is a separate agreement, an additional agreement for school psychology services.
Any questions? No? Okay. Can somebody move?
Move to approve the agreement.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Second.
Rudy is the second. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, 9.10, Napa Valley College High School Articulation Agreement 2021-2023. Michael?
Yeah, this is the articulation agreement for our culinary arts class, level 1. And this means that it is substantially similar to a course at Napa Valley College, which is good news and means that our students who take that course are potentially eligible to receive college credit as well as high school credit for taking that course.
Okay, any questions or comments? Yeah, okay, so I would like to look for a motion to accept the articulation agreement as presented.
So moved.
Thank you. Yeah.
Second.
Thank you, Stephanie. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion carries. All right, 9.11, alternative reclassification form for special education English learners.
Yeah, we've had a practice in place of reclassifying English learners who are special education students when they either have a disability which makes it difficult for them to demonstrate their English language proficiency, or simply makes it such that they won't or unable to demonstrate English language proficiency. It's allowable and something that we've done through the IEP process, but this year we've had a request from our teams to have more guidance, and we've provided that. And part of that is having a form which can be completed, which can go into a student's cumulative file, can travel with the student should the student transfer schools, and make sure that it's fully transparent as to when the student reclassified, why the student reclassified. And it's a different set of criterion than our traditional reclassification form, and really does deserve its own form.
Any comments or questions for Michael on this item? No? Okay, so I would like to ask for a motion to accept the reclassification form.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Rudy.
Second.
Josh, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, and the motion passes. All right, 9.12, PARS post-analysis. Michael again.
Yeah, so we had previously approved the ability to move forward and offer a retirement incentive through PARS. Part of that agreement was that if this was profitable to the district or had a cost savings, then we would move forward and ratify the plan. We had 3 staff members interested in taking advantage. That does come to a cost savings to the district, which is listed on their proposal. Their names are also on the personnel register tonight. And given the cost savings to the district, we are proposing that we move forward with the retirement plan through PARS.
Okay, so do we have any questions or comments? No? All right, so I'm looking for a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Rudy, Jeff and Rudy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Motion passes. Okay. 9.13 board policies and administrative regulations. These 6 policies were presented to us for first read on March 8. And they were updated to reflect the most current laws, regulations, and district practices. If there is any questions or any comments in regards to these board policies? No? Okay, so in that case, I would like to, I'm looking for a motion to pass or to approve the board policies.
So moved.
Yeah, thank you.
Second.
I want to take Stephanie. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Motion carries. Okay. And item 10.1, the 10 closing items. We are going to continue to meet virtually through Zoom until June. That's the schedule we have here. Hopefully we'll get to see each other in person soon.
That's subject to changes.
Yes, yes. And we have a future agenda items, again, the English learner reclassification recognition and an LCAP update. And with that, there's no need to reconvene to close session. And I'm looking for a motion for, adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Thank you, Jeff.
Second.
Thank you, Rudy, and all those in favor.
Aye. Thanks for everybody's time.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.